gentlemen, we back for another episode of the good old Talk to Me Tuesday. Y'all won't believe what happened, right? So, this is actually my second time trying to record this episode. The first time, I was, breaking my foot off into it, dropping knowledge. And then the computer cut off. Yeah, just cut off on me. Maybe, the spirits of ignorance or whatever, came down and touched my computer and turned it off. I don't know, but this is, the second attempt to try to bring you good people this good knowledge on such a lovely Tuesday. Now, this week you might notice a little bit of a change. So now you have more than one avenue in order to get this knowledge into your brain. So I should, at this point, be posting this video on Facebook, Instagram TV, and on YouTube. That way, I can knock out those first two excuses. I don't really use Facebook like that, or I don't really use Instagram like that. I just, get on there, I do a little scroll, and then I'm gone, man. I don't even get back on for it, man. Maybe about 2, 3 more weeks, man. You know what I'm saying, man? Like, nah, we ain't gonna deal with none of that, cause I know you get on YouTube. YouTube got everything on it. A lot of people watch more YouTube than they watch TV. So any way that I could get this fire, these fire flames to you, I'm gonna get it to you. So um let's just jump right on into it. Oh, before we jump into it, I want to thank you for the continued support of what I got going on. I'm trying to get bigger and better every week. Try to be able to present the knowledge in an effort. Not to sound like a know-it-all, but just to be able to help people who may not have thought about certain things in certain ways. You know, I've obtained knowledge about things, and I just wouldn't feel right, just holding on to it when I know that I could potentially help somebody else. I mean, people might not admit it out loud all the time, or they may just come up on me randomly or send me a message, be like, yo, man, that post that you made, I thought about some things and it helped me do X, Y, and Z or whatever. So, you know, whatever I could do to help, like I said, I'm gonna try to do it. All right, so this week we gonna throw the flag. If you're a football fan, you have refs have an issue with something, they throw the flag, and then they explain what the problem is. So we throwing the flag on the student loans this week. So there's a major issue that I feel doesn't get talked about a lot. I mean, outside of the compound interest, outside of, the predatory nature of basically how people get in bed with these student loan providers anyway. But there is a thing that these student loans do, and they can basically, if you do not check this, it'll wreck you credit wise. Because like I said, I do the credit and the insurance, and I do a whole lot of other things. So, all of these things kind of intertwine together, and to build your financial stability or financial happiness or whatever, you know, term that you want to put on it. Okay. So, as we know, when we fill out the little paperwork for the student loans, okay, so they're showing you $1 amount, like whatever dollar amount them loans are going to, add up for you. It's right there, you know. And then, of course, when you go to whatever website it is that you have to go to accept these loans, of course, they have it broken down in several spots. Okay, so you getting X $1,000 here, you getting X $1,000 from here, you getting maybe what, $500-800 here, and then you may have one at the bottom that might give you 1075 or some odd number like that, right? Okay, so in the end, of course, you're gonna have one check with $1 amount, right? That's what they're going to want you to pay back should you not be on any kind of income driven repayment plans or anything like that, right? But then we get down to your credit, right? So all those different items that you saw, where they had the dollar amount broken down to the cent, all of those are going to end up on your credit report. I know that you know this, I know this, you know this, but there is a kid out there somewhere that just accepted some loans, or there might be an older person that accepted some loans and don't really know how this goes. They're going to be in for a rude awakening when they check their credit reports, right? So let's just say, hypothetically, a we'll say maybe a kid who is somewhere around junior senior year, they've basically timed out all of their scholarships and their grants, mysteriously and miraculously all of a sudden, folks don't want to pay you anymore. Despite you having the grades, you got the GPA, you've done everything that you know to do, but yet the clock has run out on you and your funding. So now at this point, you gotta go wherever it is you gotta go to fill out the thing for them student loans, whatever, right? So you get that done, bing bang boom. You got the loans. Now you can finish school. You're graduating. Your mama crying. Your daddy got tears in his eyes. If your grandmammy's still around, she's probably, cheering, or if she's really super religious and you got a praying grandmama, she praying and hollering and hooping, all the good stuff that comes with graduation, right? Okay, so now you get to thinking, okay, well, it's time to get a job. It's time to do this, this, and this. So you just happen to look at your credit report, and now you got all these different items, right? Of course. So now this is what a lot of people don't do. They just leave the items as they are. Some people have an attitude about student loans and say, well, I'm never going to pay them off, so I ain't going to pay them. And that's like one of the biggest flaws in thinking that you could do, because you need to take care of those student loans some kind of way. If that requires you getting on some kind of income based repayment plan, I brought it up several times, but if that's what it involves, that's what you need to do. If you need to consolidate those down, then that's what you need to do as well. But you just cannot pay those things, and here's why. It's like I said, all of those different disbursements, they're going to be on your credit report. So let's just say you had to get loans for 2 years. Now you got 2 years worth of those disbursements on your credit report. If you had to get them all 4 years, now you got all 4 years worth of disbursements on your credit report. And you better hope that they didn't mistakenly duplicate those either, which they tend to do from time to time. Because like we always tell you, at least 80% of all credit reports have some kind of error on them, and duplication is one of the errors that you need to look for. So now, just imagine you have all of these items on your report, and you figure, hell, I'm not going to pay them. They want too much of my money, and you don't pay them. So now, instead of having all of those items in good standing, now you 30 days late on 5, 10, 15, 20 items on your credit report because you did not take care of those student loans. And that's how a lot of people get in trouble. Even if you start off well, you got intentions of, well, I'll just pay the interest or whatever. I'm on X, Y, and Z plan, 10, 15, 20, 25 years, they'll discharge this or whatever. So I'll just pay the interest, whatever, forget it. And then you get to a point where either you have a hardship or you just like, man, forget it. I'm not going to pay him. So now, not on top of you having being marked for having late payments on 5, 10, 15, 20 items, now you have a lot of your credit items, which are probably, your strongest and oldest lines of credit. Now you in danger with those too. So now uh, it's going to be an inconvenient time. You're in trouble with your student loans. especially as far as your credit is concerned. Now you want a car. Now you want a house. Now you want a credit card. Now you want X, Y, and Z, but you looking bad on 5, 10, 15, 20 different items because you did not take care of your credit report. And to me, that is a major problem, especially if you don't go down the consolidation route. And if you go down a consolidation route, you basically take all of that away. Like all of those items are closed and condensed into one bill. That way, if you late on your student loans or you do something wild and funky with them student loans, you are only in trouble with one item, and that's those student loans. And it's not 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 items that you're in trouble with, and then you trying to get them removed off your credit report, which really don't do you no good either, outside of just not having them appear on your credit report. But we could talk about that at a later time. So that, to me, is the biggest problem with student loans. It's not the interest, and it's not the real, the predatory recruiting to get you on the loans. Is what they do to your credit. I don't think it's fair. It's really not cool to me, especially if you don't know how to combat this in any kind of way. And especially if, the toxic mentality that you have about student loans has you out here, looking real bad as far as your paperwork is concerned. So, my suggestion would be, now, if you do it or not, it's on you. At least consider it. But like I said, my thing would be, okay. So if you are a person who just graduated from school, you might as well go ahead and consolidate those loans. They shouldn't be aged that much, I hope. Maybe a year or two, maybe three. So, there's just a shot that you just gonna have to take credit wise. Hopefully, of course, you have other things that will help bolster your credit, while you consolidate those loans and kind of make those changes, that's gonna appear on your credit report. You consolidate those loans, break it down in one bill. That way, like I said, if you get in trouble or anything like that, is the effects, the damage, the hurt won't be as painful as it would be if you was getting dinged on 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 items at one time. Or of course, if you have older loans, you didn't necessarily go down the consolidation route for some reason, then of course, more than likely, you're probably going to have to rehab those loans, especially if you haven't taken care of them in years. Find someone to help you rehab the loans. Maybe whoever's furnishing them has a rehabilitation plan. If you know somebody within the financial services realm who has a partnership with someone who can help you, get those loans back into good standing. That way you can, get on some kind of income based, plan, or maybe put them in deferment or whatever. I'm not going to toot my own home, but I do that too. But you need to go down that route. You just can't let these things just do whatever it is that they want to do. It's not good, financial literacy or awareness or anything like that. You looking bad because it's looking like you're not trying to do too much, and I know that that's not the case. So just to reiterate, if you just graduated, consolidate. If you graduated a long time ago and them loans are hurting you, you may want to consider rehabbing them. And then at that point, you also may want to consider, at least trying to get on some kind of income based repayment plan, which I've mentioned like at least 12 times already. And then if you're still having a hardship or something like that, talk to somebody. Don't just let them do whatever it is that they're gonna do to you. At at least try to fight. Don't just roll over, because all that rolling over ain't did you no good anyway. So yeah. So this the flag we throwing, man. Like, it's really unfair how the student loans do you. If you don't have them at all, then God bless your soul, your spirit, and everything like that. You don't know this struggle, but I'm pretty sure that you could assemble a room, 5 to 10 people, and most of them have the struggle. They may not want to talk about it or whatever, but somebody somewhere probably needs to hear this message. And that concludes this week's episode, man. Like I said, I really appreciate you guys for listening, and giving me, those words of encouragement. It really helps. I'm gonna put these videos out regardless. So you just being appreciative of what I'm doing is just like icing on the cake. So make sure y'all tune in for the next video. It's gonna be just as important as this one, because with the next video, of course, I'm gonna teach you a little bit about, you might be leaving a little bit of money on the table with certain things. If we all about, rapping about, chasing the bag or whatever, you letting a good bag get away from you right now, especially if you have a nice amount of residual income. Even if you just have a little residual income, this can help you out as well. So you might make sure, put a reminder in your phone. I know you got it. You got a calendar. You got Google Calendar. You got something. Set a reminder for Tuesdays, man. Be looking out. If you feel like Tuesday has gone on too long and I ain't posted a video, just say, hey man, where the video at, man? I'm gonna have you going. So just make sure you guys tune in next week. Thank you for listening to this episode of Talk to Me Tuesday.